Family. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all. Love the life you live and live the life you love. Bob Marley.
It's not what we have in life, but who we have in our lives that matters.
Good morning. My name is Rittenhouse, and I'm a sixth form boarder from Tampa, Florida. My life before Westminster was nothing like the ordinary. In fact, my family seemed to do everything opposite of what a traditional family does, or so it seemed to me. And I know, not everyone's childhood is going to be the same, but mine felt so different that when I got here, I dreaded having to tell people this story of mine. I really thought no one would ever be able to relate with my story. It wasn't quite the usual path of growing up. There were a few pivots, and I always just wanted to keep my story simple. I mean, let's just start with, I grew up in Florida, and I play hockey. Growing up, I was very shy and reserved. You could barely get a word out of me. If I was in a new place with new people, I rarely said anything. I had to be really comfortable with the person in order for me to actually talk. What began to help me venture out more and try new things was sports. I liked playing any sport, and so I tried about every possible one, each for a few months, but I couldn't settle on one I liked best. My older brother and I attempted almost all of them together, like basketball, gymnastics, karate, swimming, you name it. But let me just add, my brother and I were not the best of friends back in the day. Things were almost never sunshine and rainbows, and I mean never. We fought about everything, and it would usually end up with me starting to cry and him begging me not to tell Mom. Nick and I fought for years, and we can still get into it occasionally, but sports was the one bond we shared, the place where our competitive selves were not fighting against each other. When I was 7, my parents gave me figure skates, and my brother got a pair of hockey skates. I was super excited to do figure skating, and so was my mom. She was finally happy I picked a sport where she could dress me up. However, figure skating probably lasted a solid 5 lessons until I began to grow super jealous of my brother. Watching him head out the door with his stick and his hockey skates, I knew I wanted to give hockey a try. When I asked my dad if I could play hockey, he was beyond thrilled. But my mom took some convincing. Still, once I got her to say yes, I couldn't wait for my first lesson. I remember this day so clearly, and how scared I was to even get on the ice. Although I was dying to play, drama queen that I was, I still made the biggest scene ever as I cried and screamed that I didn't want to do it. After a lot of tears, I was convinced to get on the ice, and from that day on, everything changed. Not only for me, but for my whole family. Looking back now, I had no idea how these one pair of skates would change everything I knew about family, about ice rinks, about me. With both my brother and I now playing on teams and my dad coaching, we became the hockey family. For a little while, my brother and I played in the same age group at our local rink in Tampa, while my dad coached us and my mom was in the stands, embarrassing us, always. Having lost the battle over figure skating, she fully embraced her new role as a hockey mom. You know, loud cheering, waving madly from the bleachers, and occasionally booing the refs. But as we got older, my brother and I had to start playing at different levels, and that's when things started to get a little harder for everyone in my family. My brother would have practice with his team, while I had practice with mine. He'd have games one weekend, while I had games another. Oftentimes, we'd have games the same weekend, resulting in one parent going to one game and one going to the other. Little did we know that this would become a lifestyle, a new normal. As you can probably guess, hockey in Florida isn't all that popular, so traveling all around the country became routine for us. Eventually, 1, 2, or 4 of us were traveling somewhere north of Florida every weekend, which meant we might miss a day or two of school. And then as our schedules grew, those missed days turned into missed weeks. This schedule was causing lots of problems, and when I was around the age 11, it became apparent that something needed to change. Kids around us were starting to leave Florida to play hockey in places where it was more popular. So, my brother was trying to do the same. And that's when my mom and brother moved all the way across the country to California. And I know, going to Florida to California for hockey, but it worked for the time being, and to this day, I still remember the morning of their move and thinking how quickly our lives had changed. But it made sense. Our lives revolved around hockey. My team was stationed in Florida, and my brother's was now in California. Once the move happened, my family would often go 5 or 6 months without seeing each other. My dad and I really only saw my mom and brother on major holidays, and the short time we had together was never long enough to make up for what felt like lost time. It was hard, I'm not going to lie, but it seemed like the right thing to do. Hockey was going well for the both of us. At the same time, I had run out of options for playing hockey on boys' teams in Florida. Considering there was not much in the way of girls' hockey there, I knew, and my parents knew, that if I wanted to continue playing and we wanted to be together, we would have to relocate again. So, the whole family packed our bags and reunited in a small Connecticut town, Shelton, Connecticut, a place I'd never been before, and frankly, I don't know if I'll ever go back to. Let's just say it took some time for me to adjust, but I was just so excited for the family to all be back together that nothing seemed like it could go wrong. However, I had never gone to a new school where I knew absolutely no one. My first day at Shelton High School. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking it was going to be like going into it, but I came out of the first day knowing my last day would be just around the corner. Looking back, again, I might have been a little dramatic, but after day 4 of Shelton High School, I decided I would not be seen roaming those halls again. So, I transitioned to Florida Virtual School. This was something I never thought I would do in a million years, living in Connecticut and taking classes online. Each day, I would wake up whenever, do a few assignments on my computer, and go play hockey with Abby Munger, who was living with my family at the time. What could be better, I thought? Mind you, my 4-day appearance at Shelton High School did not supply me with any new friends. So when I started virtual school, I didn't interact with anyone during the day until I got to hockey practice. So, those school days started to get longer and harder. You forget what it feels like to go to a regular school. You start to get bored with the lazy routine, and you realize these cannot be the memories you have from high school. I needed to be more involved and more invested in the things I wanted to pursue. That's where Westminster comes into the picture. When I was first applying to Westy, I could only explain to people from home that I was making yet another change in order to play hockey at a higher level. But as my time here is running out, I've noticed it's much more than that. Being a part of a community, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, making new friends that you now can imagine life without, are important. Just as important as any passion you might also want to pursue. I don't need to worry about what others think of my story. It's my story, and like all of you, I'm going to own it. Yes, all the hockey did pose challenges to my family, but we worked through them, and my family and my parents' commitment amazes me. I wouldn't have experienced these crazy yet life-changing lessons if it weren't for my parents. They have traveled miles, moved countless times, and have impacted and affected their own lives in order to give their very best to my brother and me. Their commitment has given me everything I could ask for and more. Distance from them can get tough at times, but I know they will always be there when I need them most. And if there's anything that I've learned from being away from them, it is that they're the most important people in my life. They are not only my parents, they are my role models. And as a family, we've learned that it's always better when we're together. Thank you.
There's no combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I can sing, but I can try for your heart. Our dreams, but they're made out of real things, like a shoebox of photographs, the sleepy edge on a loving. Love is the answer, at least for most of the questions in my